best advice Steven has ever given or gotten?
And Alanna.
Well,
maybe. I don't know.
Mine has to marinate some more. Sorry for the sneak show. Anyway, that's what we're talking about today, and unpacking that with lots of questions.
Lots of questions, lots of theories and thoughts, and
hopefully we'll help you guys kind of narrate these troubled waters.
With our stuff.
That was weird. That just reminded me of a song. Anyway,
tune in.
Perfect.
Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alanna Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alanna, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now.
I gotta get my water. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. We're trying to start a podcast, and Lord behold, Alanna getting a podcast without a beverage.
I'm so sorry.
So, yes, we're back on the Mizell Show, and
Lime
can't do a podcast without Alanna having a beverage, so we're back.
I don't know what I was going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Let's just not say that, and let's go.
Why are you so mean?
I think if you look at the episodes we've done, probably 85% of them.
You've been so mean.
You say that I'm mean to you.
He's not mean at all. Okay, today
we've talked.
We're going into the archives.
Archives.
A thought nugget from the archives.
But first of all, hopefully everybody listens to our podcast. And we've talked about, in previous episodes, previously on the Mizell Show, mentorship and people in our lives. And so I came to Alanna this morning. So I get up pretty early, then I come back and like mentally unload on Alanna. Alana's like, dude, I haven't had my coffee yet. And I was like, hey, what's
hilarious is when you know that I haven't had my coffee yet.
I still go for it.
You go, I know you haven't had coffee yet, but, and I'm like,
because I can't wait, because like any moment Briggs is going to wake up and then I forget the nugget. So anyway, I came to her this morning. I was like,
do
hey.
a voice memo. I don't know.
I could.
Anyway.
I can send you a voice text message.
Yep, you could. And I can keep it for when I'm ready.
Ready. Hey, Alanna, I'm texting you from the kitchen. Anyways, we kind of talked through about, I asked her, what's some of the best advice you've given or that you've received? Mm-hmm. And so we're going to just talk through that. Like, we got some advice we want to share with you guys.
Yeah.
So did you come up with any?
I'm still processing.
Alanna's still processing. So of course I thought about it this morning.
Because like when you say the best advice you've ever gotten, I kind of think of like a sentence or like a quotation or something like that. And I don't think that that's necessarily the best advice I've ever gotten. Okay.
But also, it also determines what season of life you were in, because that could have been the best advice for XYZ moment, but right now it's like, that was good, but like it was pertaining to what you were going through.
Yeah.
So you're still processing.
I am. It's marinating.
It's marinating.
It's all working out.
It's all working out.
All my people that watch Friends will know what I'm talking about.
Is that?
Now that I've had time to absorb it, it's all working out.
Is that Ross?
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, I've seen 3 episodes. So when I thought through that, before I asked you, I kind of thought through the season of life of us and other people, and I feel the best piece of advice I don't know, I think it kind of like I put it together from multiple sources, but it was make sure every day you make your bed.
Yeah.
And
do you remember who? It was multiple sources. So you don't really remember who said
I think it was from a YouTube clip of a Navy officer giving a commencement speech in which he said this, and like it really captured the moment because he was talking to a piece of graduates, and you know, no matter if you're graduating from high school or you're graduating from college, you think you're going to that next level, and you're like, not to say you've made it, but you feel like you've made it to a certain degree because you're graduating. Mm-hmm. And he was emphasizing like, don't forget to make your bed.
Yeah.
And as minimal as it may sound, it really resonated with me. And in that chapter of my life, I kind of lived it, and also I poured into it for the player development role and talking to the players. Mm-hmm. And so we would have practice like very early in the morning. They'd come stumbling in and be like, I'm tired, I'm going through it. And the first thing I would say to a lot of the players was like, hey, did you make your bed?
Yeah.
And they would look at me like I had a third eye, looking at me crazy.
No, because I'm about to get back in it.
Exactly. So it was funny because Obina, who is now at TCU, football player, great guy, great person.
What is TCU? Texas Central?
Texas Christian University.
Texas Christian.
He's
okay.
Offensive lineman for there. But he stopped me out of all the guys. I kind of kept saying it just to get in their head, but he stopped me. He was like, why do you ask me if I made my bed?
Right.
And I was like, oh, you actually want to know. And so we went into it. And the whole principle of making your bed is, are you going to do the small things each and every day to get to where you want to go?
Yeah.
Because in the generation that a lot of them see and we are seeing people post about their 9s and 10s in life. Like
so 9s and 10s, you mean like the pretty things. The
pretty things.
The I've made it.
So like
so the 1s and 2s on a scale, you're talking about brushing your teeth, making your bed.
Yeah, the 1s and 2s that nobody likes.
Where would you put eating healthy?
Eating healthy is a 1 and 2 because.
So what's the middle?
I don't know. I've always.
You've just gone to one side or the other.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a good point, though. Man,
Sorry
I don't know what the middle is.
Just asking all the questions.
No, you're asking the questions because the 9 and 10 would be hypothetically them seeing somebody post the quote unquote ideal body or the car or the NFL or whatever you want to see it.
Okay. So you're saying a 9 and 10 is also situational.
Yes. Yeah.
And circumstantial.
Yes.
Because I'm going to ask you this. Has your 9 and 10s changed in the last 5 years? So Steven had a birthday this month, early in October.
Yes.
He had a birthday.
Turned 36.
You turned 37.
You're right, I was 37.
His mom had to tell us, y'all, at a soccer game. We were saying 36, and he goes, you turn 37 tomorrow.
Yeah, I did.
And we were like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody counts the COVID year.
Anyway, irrelevant. 5 years ago, at 32, we'll just say 30 to make it easy.
Yeah.
When you turn 30.
Mm-hmm. Make it easy. 7 years ago. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying like that number is different.
Yeah.
Were your 9 and 10s different than they are now?
Yes. 100%. Yeah, my 9s and 10s are definitely, yeah.
Were your 1s and 2s different?
Did you know that I sell makeup? Not only do I sell makeup, but the makeup that I sell is 3D makeup, which allows you to highlight and contour your face in a super simple compact. As a mom, I could not survive without my simplified routine. Not only that, but it's exactly what you need. Exactly when you need it, all in one spot. Go ahead and check out Alanna Mizell on Instagram or alannamizell.com to learn more.
No, they weren't.
Your 1s and what's interesting about what you're saying is the best advice you've ever given is that your 1s and 2s don't change. Your 9s and 10s are situational and are dictated based off how your life develops. But your 1s and 2s and your consistency that give you the values that you are, like I care about what my belongings, I care about making my bed, I care about my personal health and where I'm going, don't change.
Yeah, I think that's so like, maybe the things
like
that change.
The 9s and 10s that adapt over time are the things that are actually dictated by other people's influence.
Yes, and what you're seeing influence. Yeah.
And what you're seeing and where you're wanting to go.
Yeah.
But you can't really get there or determine what your 9s and 10s really are, the trajectory of your life, what you were created for, without doing your fundamental 1s and 2s.
Because it's funny you say that because I also feel that, the 1s and 2s and ones that are steadfast, that don't really change, that produces the character. And no matter how much those 9s and 10s change, that inkling of character that you have will help you get to those 9s and 10s, no matter how much they've changed or tweaked or navigated or changed, because it's something that it's so overlooked. Because situation regardless, with where we live now in America and what we see, a lot of people only see that 9 and 10. and they think that person, whoever just got there,
Yeah.
and you don't see that person's steadfastness. They don't see the ones and twos, the ugliness of the ones and twos
Right.
that they had to go through
Right.
to get there.
But I would challenge you to think that the ugliness is not the ones and the twos. The ugliness is the 3 through the 7, the 3 through the 8, the middle
So
ground.
you're developing the middle ground now. Okay,
That's what I'm
yeah.
trying to determine. So, like, I would say that your ones and twos are the things that never change.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually making your bed,
Yes.
right? And, taking care of the day-to-day.
Yeah.
The challenges of the middle ground that develop your internal values and kind of your value system that gets questioned. So, as you become a believer in Christ, through ups and downs of life, you're going to question him.
Yeah.
And I believe that he's designed it so that we do to prove that he's there.
Yes.
Now, I'm not always in that camp.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about it. I struggle. I lean on Steven. I go, I'm going to need you to have hope in this because I don't got it.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't have it. But so I would say, just from us developing in this conversation, your ones and twos are things that kind of your parents teach you to do.
Yeah.
Right from wrong. Go brush your teeth. Take care of your own well-being.
Do good. Do what you're. Do
Right.
what you know. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then I would say kind of the path in between it all is your personal development.
Okay.
And kind of your internal structure. It is the ugly.
Yeah.
Because we talked about how 9s and 10s are the pretty. The 9s and 10s are I've gotten there. I've reached this goal.
This goal. The
that
pinnacle.
society has said
You're here.
more times than not. You're letting society know I've achieved this. And I would say that for us, our 9s and 10s have actually transformed more so into things that people can't see.
Yeah. I could definitely. Yeah.
But
I'll agree with
I would say that's actually only developed for both of us over the last 6 months.
that. Yes. Yes.
But it had to go through the middle ground. And it's almost kind of reminding me of resume building. So your 1s and 2s are your degree, where you went to school, what you got your
You gotta have
foundational
that to
stuff,
get you, yes.
right? And then your 9s and 10s are the job that you're applying for. So the middle ground is what you've done between
Yes.
the degree and where you're going. And it's actually going to filter out.
Yes.
What is a 9 and 10 at the age of 30 will potentially no longer be relevant by the time you're 45 and will actually come off the resume.
Yeah.
So just like how that kind of is situational, I definitely think that the middle ground is that fluidity, is that gray.
It's the gray.
And literally from 3 to 10 changes.
It changes, and it's something that, like I said, it goes back. And that's, you speak of the resume. You think about it so many times that you also get so caught up in the middle ground, in the jobs you had for those whatever months, and you forget, hey, in college, they taught me this basic fundamental that I know I need to use right now. And you say that, I think, through so many moments in my college career, even though it was like so long ago, it feels like it, but it was still, it's still something that you knew about and you taught, and you stay with it. Because I'm a firm believer of another, I guess you can call it a Stevenism or what you want to call it. I feel there's something out there called work ethic karma, that if you get to that 9 and 10, you don't stay there unless you have leaned on or done those 1s and 2s, because we see it so many times. The worst thing in life is to get where you think you need to be, the pinnacle, and you can't stay there because you don't have that foundation, the foundation to stay there.
The 1s and 2s, yeah. So and I
1s and 2s.
also think that the resume is a good metaphor for what you're talking about, because there's no right way to do a resume.
Oh, no.
But you can read hundreds of articles
and you can change it and tweak it.
on the best resume.
But it's still, no, yeah.
And it's all based off of what the person on the other side thinks is right. And not necessarily on what you think is right. So you're trying to narrate your 3 to 10, or 3 to 8 really is what we're talking about, because your job, the new job is the 9 to 10, or the goal is the 9 to 10. And at the same time, it just depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what somebody else thinks is an adequate amount of experience for the job that you're going for.
Yes.
And isn't that kind of what you said? What is the adamant amount of work ethic that you've put in that then says that you should keep and maintain your 9 and 10.
Yes.
And then, what is the amount of work ethic you need to push yourself further into so that your current 9 and 10 becomes a 7 and an 8?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a valid point. And so it's one of those things where you continue to marinate and you continue to think through the cycle of life and the cycle of things that you're like, okay, I'm here, and then how do I stay there? And then you see so many people from the outside and their downfalls from their 9s and 10s. And I hate to throw shade, but you also look at what happened to Rachel Hollis and how, at one point you would say, I'm just saying, you think through seeing these things, and we don't know her day to day or what her life really looks like, but you see at one point she was like the top motivational speaker, and then the other things, maybe the 1s and 2s that she wasn't working on to get her there, started to fumble, and then, I don't know where she is today, but like, there's something to think about.
So how do we know that her actual 9 and 10 and what she was called to do isn't actually happening right now?
That's true. We assumed she was at a 9 and 10.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe she was for that time frame, but if you look at just mine in your life, our 9 and 10 has drastically changed over the last 6 months. Right?
Yes, it has.
It has drastically changed. Our actual goals of where we're wanting to go is vastly different.
As I'm prepared to eat walnut tacos tonight.
Yeah, we're eating walnut tacos tonight. Cannot wait. I literally can't wait.
No, you're right. No, but you should say that it's drastically changed.
So, 6 months ago, you were still the director of player relations, and we thought we had the potential to move somewhere across the country for a different role, a different college, a Power 5.
Yeah.
Now, is that even something that you want to do?
Yeah, that's something you're right. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not on the table, so it's really not up for discussion. but like, that's not a goal that you're putting in a 9 and 10 spot. Yeah. So when we're looking at Rachel Hollis, although at one point her goal was to be the number 1 motivational speaker, theoretically speaking, right? When you actually look at what she's written, one of her biggest goals was actually to just take care of her kids. So maybe she needed the motivational speaker to move down on her resume so that her 9 and 10 of taking care of her kids could actually be in the forefront and be the goal that she was striving for. And so she could go back to making her bet.
Ooh. That's spot on.
Unfortunately, she had to fall on her face a little bit. But had she been somebody else, had it been 10 years ago, 18 years ago, whatever, nobody would have ever known.
No, you're right.
So it's also kind of like the reality that you see everybody's 9s and 10s, but you also see everybody's 3s, 4s, 5s of when they fall flat on their face.
In the middle, yeah.
You see their struggle only if it's bad enough.
Only if it's bad,
and only if their 9 and 10 has reached a pinnacle to where society says it's big enough.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
20 years ago, you would have never known it even happened.
That's true.
It may have made one news cycle. It would not have dictated the rest of her career.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a valid statement.
So, and I just say that because I think that one of the biggest things that people need to hear who are currently struggling with something is that just because your 9 and 10 has changed doesn't mean that who you're developing into isn't equally or more valuable.
And the principles of your 1s and 2s are still there.
They've never changed.
Never changed.
Right.
That's heavy.
No, I do think that as your 9s and 10s change and you grow more, it's harder to do your 1s and 2s because you think you've outgrown the paper pushing. But that's why it's so important for those things to never change.
Never change. And so it goes back to every morning when those people say 10 toes down, you hit the floor.
Right.
You know that you have the ability to make your bed and to do those 1s and 2s that
Right.
day.
Like literally every morning, our kids get up, they get dressed, they eat breakfast, we get ready for the day, we pray before we go. Like those are their 1s and 2s. Those are their fundamental building blocks.
Yes.
If you look at the way a window is structured, the middle of a window is actually the cornerstone. What keeps the window together is the middle. And if you move the cornerstone, the entire structure falls. Yeah. So what are your ones and twos? What are your cornerstones that you need to do no matter what so that your structure doesn't fall?
Because again, like any window, in every part of the house could change, but that cornerstone, that middle is still there. And like you said, you're 9 to 10. Yeah, that makes sense. So you know your advice yet?
My advice?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
All right, guys, don't worry about it. We'll just tune in next week. You sure?
No, I gotta marinate.
You gotta marinate?
I think there's just a lot happening.
So it's like a 10-part episode, like a Michael Todd sermon, like.
No, I don't think so. I just think that I think it's just changing.
Okay.
The advice that I need now versus like the best advice that I've given or gotten is so different. One of my favorite quotes ever is, "You didn't wake up to be mediocre." It used to be. And now I don't care so much for that quote.
Well, let's tune in next week and we can see what Alanna has for us then.
Okay, cliffhanger.
I'm going to say cliffhanger, tune them in, bring it back. No.
Well, yeah, we can unpack that next week.
But this week we unpacked Steven's.
We did.
And Steven's
so I guess it is a two-parter.
Two-parter.
You guys can tell we plan ahead so well we're trying to.
We enjoy it.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out the Mizell Show and learning a little bit more about Steven's ones and twos.
Our ones and twos. And then my advice that I wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah. Best advice you've ever given. And gotten. Adapted. You kind of took one thought nugget and expanded it into your own advice.
I did.
I love it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
So if you guys are enjoying this, definitely leave us a review. Give us the feedback. If there's something you guys want us to talk about, reach out to us on our website at themizellshow.com. There is a contact section. You can put it in there. We would love to hear about it. Or you can always go over to Instagram at The Mizell Show. Also, as always, don't forget to screenshot this episode and just add it to your stories and tag us on Instagram, on Facebook at The Mizell Show. Thanks, guys. Are you loving The Mizell Show? Well, we love you all. And did you know that you can have me and Steven talk to your team or a group of 25 of your friends? All it takes is 25 people showing up on either a Zoom call, a Facebook Live, or really anywhere. Hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But how do you get us? So all you have to do is email themizellshow@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram at The Mizell Show.